What's up, basketballers? Man, we haven't done this since Summer League, which was very, very fun, by the way. If you guys remember, I remember there was a stupid ass, it was the NHL draft was on during the one of the Houston Rockets Summer League games, and it was on for like a half hour. That was hilarious. What's up, Barak from Turkey? What's going on, my man? Hope all is well. So while we wait for some peeps to get in here, basically, I moved to Florida. Okay. I currently live in Florida, and I actually live in Fort Myers, Florida, and that is where the hurricane hit. So I'm in Chicago. I'm at home. I came home for a Bears game, which is so weird because I'm a Packers fan. Like, this is a Bears hat, but I'm a Green Bay Packers fan. And I really lucked out. I just canceled my flight. But apparently, where I live, it looks like it's going to be okay. And so I'm here for an extended period of time. And I went live. If you guys don't know, I have a daily live NBA show that I do with a fellow YouTuber named Ciro. And the link's actually down below if you guys want to check it out. Is it down below? I don't know. Just type in the NBA show, Will Upton, or something like that, or Jackson Ostro. And I went live yesterday because Ciro he's still in school. And so he had shit to do. And so Wednesdays are my solo streams. And it was the first one. Bro, it was so bad. It was literally so bad. And I was like, sheesh, dude, I haven't live streamed in the longest time. Did I lose my sauce? So I feel like I briefly lost my sauce, but we're back. We're back. So we're going to get back into the swing of things. Season has started. Excited that I'll be seeing the Rockets again. Yes, sir. If anybody has any questions, go ahead, drop them down below, or just statements, bold predictions, anything like that. We're here on an ad. Perfect. We're here on Real GM because, I don't know, I like that it's not my favorite, but I can pull up the depth chart pretty easily. So, yeah, I don't think any of this is actually recent. Rockets, KPJ have interest mutually. Rockets made trade offer to Magic once Paolo emerged as number one pick. Whoa. Ooh, Lakers recently expressed interest in Eric Gordon. That's what I'm looking to see, man. But what is this? Rockets made trade offer to Magic once Paolo Banchero emerged as a number one pick. Well, this article is months old. Did anybody know this? These Rockets reached out to Magic about a trade once they were convinced Paolo would be selected at one. Yada, yada, yada. We didn't know Orlando was taking Banchero until 10 minutes before the draft, GM Rafael Stone said. I didn't hear from the Magic telling me for sure until a few minutes before, said Banchero's agent. The Rockets wouldn't have made an offer if they were certain. Rockets wouldn't have made an offer if they were certain Smith would slide to them at number 3. Houston was concerned about having to make a decision on Holmgren without time to process his medical information. When the odds shifted, we noted it. If people are willing to put their money on it, especially when you see a big swing like that, it feels like maybe somebody knows something. Houston hadn't met with Smith before the draft, though they had done extensive scouting and research on him. That's news to me, but I feel like I didn't really actually get too much news out of that right there. I don't know if anybody else did, but still kind of vague. The only downside about this site is look at how many goddamn ads there are. Rockets re-signed Bruno. That's old. Willie Cauley-Stein signs a 1-year deal with Rockets will compete for a roster spot. People forget about Willie Cauley-Stein, myself included, all the time. So let's pull up the depth chart here. Or should we pull up the history? No, we'll just leave the roster up here. And so this is kind of crazy, man. I don't know why Willie Cauley-Stein isn't on here. I don't see Willie Cauley-Stein anywhere, which is weird. Hold on, let me Google this just in case something happened with Willie where we let him go or something, which pretty sure didn't happen. But let's just double check this. Yeah. Okay. Whoa. Hold up. Let's pull this up. We will share. I need a producer. No, wait. Fucking hey, dude. I'm tripping. What? Share screen. Oh, I'm just stupid. Okay, here we go. Willie Cauley-Stein likely bound for Houston's G League hub. Ben DuBois reports. I think he's the Astros guy too. This is pretty surprising, man. Houston Rockets reportedly reached an agreement more than a month ago to sign Willie Cauley-Stein. Yet, with training camp for the season only a few days away, he still isn't actually on the roster, which remains full. There's a very plausible reason for the delay. While Houston reportedly has no plans for three of the players, Trey Burke, Sterling Brown, Marquise Chris, acquired from Dallas for salary matching purposes in the Christian Wood trade and could easily release one to clear a roster spot. If needed, they are eligible to again be used for matching salary purposes in the trade, this time by the Rockets. True. So for general manager Rafael Stone, it makes sense to exhaust any trade possibilities before cutting one or more of that trio and signing a new player whose salary would be ineligible to be dealt until midseason. The only hard deadline is prior to October 19th, start of Houston's regular season. Yeah, so we have 20 or so guys right now, and you got to get them down to 15 with two ways. Oh, there we go. We got some chats coming in. Hell yeah. The news there is that the Rockets were concerned OKC would take Smith and we'd have to choose between Chet and Ivy. I'm very glad we didn't have to figure that out. I'm very glad. And as you say, without Chet's medicals, turns out those concerns were justified. So yeah, there you go. I'm still big on Chet. I still think Chet will be a good basketball player, but I'm very happy that we were able to get Willie Cauley-Stein. I'm very able we were able to get Jabari Smith Jr., aka KD 2.0. When is the Houston Rockets' first preseason game? Let's just pull it up. Should I have something on the screen at all time? I don't know. Houston Rockets preseason game 2022. October 2nd. That is on Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. That is Sunday. Wow. We have Houston Rockets basketball live on Sunday. I will take that. I will definitely take that. So we got 2.5 weeks after that until the start of the regular season. Here is the current depth chart. That makes a lot more sense to me now that I've seen Ben DuBois talk about that, is that we have all these players from that Christian Wood trade. You got Trey Burke, Trey Burke's really interesting because I don't want to assume it, but I wouldn't be surprised if he genuinely just was the Houston Rockets backup point guard next season. But I think they would split it between, Ty. I think it'll go to Ty. Although I am rooting for Daishen Nix, I think this might be another G League season for Daishen. We'll see, though. Ty could definitely also be thrown onto the bench or onto the G League. Maybe a role Trey Burke until one of the two or both of them are ready. You can kind of tell from this right here, and keep in mind guys like Tari, Jabari, you got Bruno, Usman, Boban down here. There's a lot of players on this basketball team. There's a lot of deserving basketball players on this team. So that's kind of the issue with keeping a guy like Trey Burke. Sterling Brown, I mean, it's cool to see him back on Houston because he was there for us in the Harden year. But I just don't think with everything, especially with the recent signing last year of Garrison Matthews, I don't really think that there's any role for Sterling Brown on this basketball team, as unfortunate as that sounds. Same thing kind of goes for Marquise Chris. I mean, if we didn't have Usman Garuba, I think Marquise Chris maybe stays, but you also have guys like Bruno. My boy Ciro thinks that Boban's just like a, what is it called? Not an industry plant, but used for just marketing purposes. I don't know if Houston would actually, I don't know if teams actually hold on to Boban just for marketing. I think that sounds a little ridiculous to me. However, I guess crazier things have happened. I don't really see that being a possibility. But what's up to Goyo? Shout out to Goyo because he watches our daily live NBA show. So you are my homie. You're all my homies, but you're even more of a homie. Do a live stream on Sunday for the Rockets. The issue with that is, first off, I believe I have one of my cousin's birthday desserts. But I'm also a diehard Packers fan, and I also cover the NFL. I got to watch the Bucks game and the Raiders game, so Sundays are kind of shitty for me. Let's go see what time that game was at. Because if it's during the day, I think that sounds money to me. It's at 6. 6 is actually a super solid time. Let's just really, I don't know if you can hear me well without talking into the mic, but let's see the scores for this week. We're the Raiders 325, Packers 325, Chiefs Bucks at 720. So maybe I'll go live for a little bit, but what I think I'll most likely do is I'll probably go live after it. Which player from the Houston Rockets will be All-Star this season other than Alperen Şengün? Unfortunately, I don't think Şengün would get an All-Star, but if there was going to be an All-Star on this team, I think you got to look at Jalen Green. I think you should also look into a little bit of Kevin Porter Jr. If KPJ wants to make an All-Star, obviously we're going to have to see an increase in stats, but he's not far away at 16, 4, and 6. Kevin really isn't that far away. Got to get the turnovers down, and you got to get the shooting up, which we saw in the second half of the season. Jalen Green, I think, is definitely the choice for if we were thinking there's going to be an all-star on this roster for this upcoming season. You got to look at Jalen, man. This guy averaged like 23 in the last month of the season. So he's a dog, and this just kind of goes right into this question here. What stats do you think Jalen will get? I should have predicted his stats on my Jalen Green video yesterday, which I'm testing out, like adding clips and like highlight mixes to my videos just to make them more interactive. So I'm getting there. The problem is my phone is like an iPhone 11 mini or iPhone 12 mini. So it has like the least amount of space in the world. And I also have my golf company and I have, 20 other YouTube channels. So it's just kind of a pain in the ass. But if I had to predict Jalen stats, I'd be a little safe, a little conservative here. Just go like 22, which you could look at his stats last year and be like, whoa, that's not conservative at all. I think we'll see Jalen Green in the second half of the season for a whole season. Obviously you're going to go through some slumps, but to me, the fact that Jalen Green was able to average 15 points a night while shooting less than 40% from the field and like 31% from downtown in the first 43 games of the year, I think that proves to me enough that he's fully capable of getting a bucket. So I think he'll average something with the number starting as a 2. If I had to predict, I'd probably go 22, 3, and 4. 22, 4, and 3, something like that. 22, 4, and 4. I think we'd all be very pleased with that. What's up, Midnight Ace? I got to bring the I love that. It's such a nice compliment to get compared to Matthew McConaughey, so I'll take it. The stash will be back one day, but I'm in the clean-shaven era because, I don't know, I like it. How much playing time do you think Tari will see this season? For me, personally, I think Tari will see 25 a night. I think the thing with Tari is, Eric Gordon's slated to start right now, but what I noticed watching the summer league with Tari Eason was that this guy is just like prepared to work, and that's what he does. Like he just works, and he gets the job done. Tari Eason does too many things at a high level for him to not see at least 20 minutes. If Tari Eason is playing good basketball and we're seeing his number at like a flat 20, or if God forbid it was lower than 20, that's where I'm going to get pissed off. But I really don't think Silas would do that. I really hope Silas won't do that. But once again, it is contingent on the fact that Tari Eason playing good basketball, because as we kind of see with Chris Martinez's question here, do you think KPJ stays or gets traded? Like KJ. You have guys like KJ. You have Jayshawn Tate. You have Garrison Matthews. You have David Waba. You have technically all those, Josh Christopher, technically have Sterling Brown and Daisha. I don't know why Daisha Nix is listed as small forward, but there's a lot of chefs in the kitchen right now. So you're gonna have to play well, because if you're not playing well, Silas might decide to go in a different direction. What do you think about Jabari at 3 as his primary position? Man, I love it. I absolutely love it. Jabari being listed at 6'11" just makes the case that he could be a Kevin Durant type player that much more prevalent. Like Jabari Smith Jr., to me, he plays with this swagger. It's something I've talked about a lot in this offseason is, that seems to be what this Houston Rockets culture is trending towards, and I'm all for it. Where you have Jalen Green, who knows he's the shit, and he's gonna let you know he's the shit with his play style, just the way he carries himself. So I can't wait for Jabari Smith's season, but being listed at 6'11, we're 100% going to see him at the 4, and we're 100% going to see him at the 5, which is going to be really interesting, but it's very good. It reminds me of almost like kind of Toronto Raptor basketball, where Jabari's almost like this positionless basketball player. Like, he can bring up the ball, and if you watch Jabari Smith Jr. college highlights, like, he'll heat check, he'll get the ball, he'll get the rebound, just go up down the court and knock in a 3, knock in a running 3. So Jabari can do a lot of things. I think we'll see him mainly at the 3. We'll see how Tari does. We'll see if Tari plays more 3 or 4, but I think that they'll be pretty changeable. And probably the most important part on defense with these types of wings is just the switchability. It seems really good for Jabari Smith and Tari Eason. What is our plan B for center in case Şengün gets injured? This is a really good question, and it's probably why they're still holding on to Marquise Chris and Boban. They probably want to go through camp. They probably want to listen to trade offers. My hope is that it's Usman, Garuba, and Bruno. I think Bruno really flashed. Are we able to see Bruno's second half stat? I don't think we're able to see his second half stats on here. Oh, yeah, a little bit. So he only played 9.4 minutes a night, but he was putting up basically 70 points. Yeah. He's putting up basically 7 points a night on 71% from the field. He doesn't have a 3-point shot, which is a little unideal, but like, dude, in 9 minutes, you're giving me 7 points and 4 rebounds and almost a block. So I think Bruno, especially considering he's very young, 24 years old, I think we'll see a lot of Bruno, hopefully, this upcoming season like we did in the second half. I'm also hoping we see a lot of Usman Garuba. Usman Garuba looked very improved in the Euro ball this summer. His offensive game, we know his defense is phenomenal, but his offense really looked like it's starting to get there. It looks like he's starting to get a lot more comfortable. I appreciate you, Chris. Always recognize you when you drop a comment on this channel. I appreciate you, man. My question is, do you think KJ stays or gets traded? I honestly think he gets traded at some point, but once again, we'll see how player development continues to go. We'll see what Jae'Sean Tate, Tari, Jabari. I love KJ Martin Jr. I don't really know this whole situation. Oh, that thing's fat as fuck. That thing is fatty. That's a fatty. I hate that so much. I saw something on the side of my ear. I knew it. That thing was fat. And it was not a spider. I try to not kill spiders because I think that's bad juju. If you watch my show, when I first moved out of Chicago and into the suburbs in this basement, there was like a span of like 3 straight weeks on our show where there would be a fat fucking spider just right through my legs, and I'd lose my mind. But anyway, sorry. To answer Chris's question, I'm very behind, so I got to start. We don't have too many questions, so I think KJ does get traded. Like I said, I don't know what the situation is really at its. When you dig deep down, we don't know the full answer. Is KJ's dad? Is this KJ's dad? Is it KJ and his dad speaking it? I don't know. I don't really know. It's just such a shitty situation to me, and that's why I made my like KJ, what are you doing video a couple of days ago, where it's like, bro, you almost went undrafted. You played almost you played 79 games last year. You averaged over 20 minutes a night. You're 19 years old. Like, you're not Kobe, bro. You got to back it up with your play. We saw 7 good games from KJ Martin Jr. at the end of his rookie season, and I guess to him that means, I should be the starting small forward moving forward. But I don't know, man. If something else comes up, if there's another like situation like this that comes up where we hear his dad or we hear him and it just seems like unideal, I think definitely he's getting traded. But for now, they're probably waiting and seeing. They probably want to get his trade value up as well. What's up, Frankie? Appreciate you. Our realistic potential starting 5, I think this is what it'll be at the end of the season, is just KPJ, Jalen Green. You'll probably see a mix of Tari and Jabari at 3 and 4, and then Alperen Şengün there at the 5. I think Şengün is definitely starting 100,000%. I think that's exactly what they're looking for with him this season. Keep in mind, man, he's very young. Played almost, 72 games last season. That's another underrated statistic. We got to get his fouls down, but he knows that. He knows he's got to get his fouls down. I honestly expect to see a 3-point percentage jump from 25%. A key number here to look at is he shot 71% from the free throw line. That's usually like a pretty good future indicator of what are you going to be able to shoot from the three. I would imagine Şengün's shooting 30-something% from downtown this year, and that's really going to open up his game because he took a 3.5 last season per game, per night. I think we'll probably see something like 2.5 to 3. If he could turn into more of a, not literally a stretch three, but if he has that threat, if he has that range, that's exactly, that really opens it up. So he's a per minute monster. Do we have per 36 stats on this? Doesn't seem like it. Wow, they even have summer league stats. Hell yeah. Wait, is it 2021, 2022? No, it is not. Right? It's 2022, 2023. Anyways, Şengün's definitely going to be starting. And like I said, I don't think he'll make it to the All-Star game this season, but he's definitely, to me, our cornerstone future center. The Rockets 100%. They're going to be 100%. Do you think the Rockets will improve their defense with Tari Jabari? Are they above the average of NBA from the first season? I'm a little confused at that second part of the question, but I think 100% these guys are going to improve the defense. 100%. Even if Tari's coming off the bench for 82 games, that defense is going to be better in general. Christian Wood's off the roster. Jalen Green apparently yesterday was a defensive standout. Any realistic trades we can do this season? It'll probably be something related to Eric Gordon. I think Eric Gordon is probably going to be the guy who ends up getting traded. I just saw that the Lakers are still interested in him. We'll see if they decide to keep their first round picks. We'll see. I know the Lakers aren't the most ideal trade, but the Cavs had some interest in him last year. They probably should have traded for him instead of Karras because Karras just wasn't getting the job done for him last year. But I would imagine it'll be KJ and Eric Gordon on their way out. I wouldn't be surprised if I'd be very surprised if any other starter got traded. I don't think anybody else would get traded. Jabari gives me vibes of a young KG with a jumper. That is awesome. I love that. Jabari equals Chris Bosh with dribbling skills. My boy got roaches. It wasn't a roach, but it was one of those like fat, long things. That sounds weird, but it's just like, yeah. What's up, Curtis? How you doing? I wish Arturo. I wish I was going to some Rocket preseason games, but I just moved to Florida. Like I said, I just moved to Fort Myers, and so I'm a lot closer to Houston now than I was in Chicago, or like I am right now in Chicago. How will our offense be ran? I think these boys are gonna run. I think they're gonna run like we did in the second half. If you watch our second half film, these boys are running, man. They're running. You get the rebound or you get a turnover, even better, just run. Get downhill. I want to see Jalen Green get downhill. I want to see all these boys get downhill. It's going to be really interesting because we've had Christian Wood on our roster for the last 2 seasons, and as much as I love Christian Wood, it's probably why he's being listed as the bench piece, right? The 6th man for Dallas, but he could stall out an offense sometimes where he just gets the ball, whether it's at the top of the key or it's down below in the paint, and he'll just have the ball for like 10 seconds. And it just kind of was sucky. It just kind of was sucky. So I think we're going to be downhill. I think that Silas is really trying to be like, yo, listen, we're one of the youngest teams in the NBA. Let's run these guys off the court. Let's just gas the opposing team. I think we're going to put up a bunch of points every night, most nights. Steven Silas is vertical. I have no idea. I don't know if I'm the only one, but Jalen gives me the vibe of a young Beal. Yeah, I've heard that before. I think Zero is a pretty big advocate for that comparison. Bradley, you guys got to remember, man, Bradley Beal, when he first got out of college from Florida, he was a good defender. Like, he was a good defender. I think Jalen Green definitely possesses the ability to defend at a high level, and like I said earlier, man, I think we'll see a 20-something a night from Jalen Green like we did in the second half of the season. Şengün reminds me so much of Jonas Valanciunas. Wow. That's interesting. I'm excited to see what he's developed because Şengün played a lot of basketball this summer. He played a lot of ball. So I'm excited to see if Akeem rubbed off on him because that's kind of what we're getting a taste of. But that's an interesting comparison. I've never heard that before. Şengün, Garuba, Bruno, Willie, and Boban. Wow, that's one slow ass team. Tari and Smith together on the floor will improve the defense dramatically. Let me just get a quick fact check on where we ranked defensively last season because it's where I think it is. There's 100%. Yeah, we are second to worst. We ranked 29th in defense last year. So 100% it's seeing improve. Are you still going to the home opener? I hope so, man. I think so. I still got to buy my flight, book a hotel. I'm trying to get my buddy to come with me. I think it's on a Friday night. I thought the home opener was against Atlanta for the longest time, and now, of course, I'm blanking on who it is. I want to say it's the Mavs, but I know it's not the Mavs. Who is it? Oh, I saw Toronto for a second. That's our second preseason game. I got so excited. All right, here we go. Regular season. Memphis, that's who it is. Yeah, that's gonna be super cool. Actually, I'm very excited about that. How do all those future first round picks we have dictate our future with our core right now? So, wow, that's unideal. So, to me, this is the thing. I think that right now, this upcoming year, by the way, guys, we're going to be ending this here soon. I might do these every day. I love this. I miss this a lot. So go ahead, drop any questions or comments and while we wrap this show up. But anyways, the thing with me is this. I think that with Houston, I think what we're going to see this year is Jalen Green really cement himself as a franchise piece. The franchise piece that we are rolling with. And so once you have your franchise piece, to me, if I was running a basketball team, which probably thank God I'm not, is I'm getting rid of my first. Like if I have my franchise piece in Jalen Green and I have a supporting cast in guys like Jabari and Tari and KPJ and Alperen Şengün, I'm literally not, trying to trade every first round pick I have, but now it becomes all right. We need to improve. We need to fill out the rest of the roster, whether that's via free agency, whether that's trades, whatever the case may be. So I don't really think those future first round picks are going to play much of a role into the Houston Rockets' future as far as acquiring young talent or acquiring rookies, I should say. Brooklyn also, this is a big year for them. So that could change. This is a contract year for Kyrie. So to me, if the Nets if they don't make at least the Eastern Conference Finals, I think Kyrie will be getting out of there. Kyrie might be getting out of there regardless. And if we remember why Kevin Durant went there, it was to play with Kyrie Irving. He has no affiliation to the city of Brooklyn or to that state in general. Like, he doesn't have any reason to be in Brooklyn other than Kyrie wanted him there. So I think once they lose Kyrie, they lose Kevin. However, they still have a really talented roster. From that point on, we'll see what happens with Brooklyn. But I think either way, things are looking good with those draft picks. Whether you're drafting them or whether you're trading them away, I think they'll be very valuable. The biggest thing I want to see this year is Green's defense and playmaking ability. Since he's going to be the franchise player for us, we know he can score. It is very good to hear. We'll see what happens today, but it was great to hear yesterday that he was a defensive standout, or I think that was on Tuesday. No, I think that was yesterday. Grizzlies versus Ja, yes, sir. The Brooklyn Nets will definitely be good this upcoming year. I just don't think, even if they are good, unless they win the championship, I still think they're a ticking time bomb. It's just the better they do, the longer it might extend. You got to remember, Ben Simmons is a really good basketball player. As much as people want to shit on him, he's a very talented basketball player, and you can 100% build around him. Although he did just turn 26. Who do you think the Rockets are going to target in free agency next year? It's a good question, man. Let's Let's see what we got here. Do we go for Vic next year? I don't think so. I don't really think that we're trying to, if it happens, it happens. But you want to establish winning basketball at some point. We'll see. We'll see it, especially with guys like, we'll see with everybody on the roster who are the free agents we should be targeting. I wouldn't be surprised though if you get Chris Middleton, you try and get Chris Middleton. I wouldn't be surprised if they try and get James Harden back. We'll see though. The Rockets have a lot of money, so they can get pretty creative here. But I think in order, it's kind of hard to speculate right now because we kind of do need to see how the season goes, and we'll see what we need. So, all right, guys, that's it for today. Thank you all for watching, coming through, commenting. Might start doing these every day. I have my show at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. If you guys want to check that out, my Twitter, my Instagram at Jackson Ostro, hit me up. Can always tweet or DM me if you need something or just want to talk Rocket. And yeah, man, that's it for today. I'll probably post another video tomorrow later tonight on how the Houston Rockets training camp is going because I do want to start getting into that. So thank you for watching. And wow, this is we'll end it here with Curtis's take. Rockets got a legit chance at a ring this season. That is nuts. I would lose my mind. All right. Appreciate it. Y'all hit that like button, hit that sub button if you haven't already. I'll catch you cats later. There we go.